Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the inaugural Student Technology Conference. We're very excited to have all of you here.
So the conference has been a couple months in the making. Sorry about the echo.
So we're very excited that the conference has finally come. There's a very bad echo in the room, but we'll still continue. We've been working on this conference for the past year, and it's amazing to see it all come through.
And we're so excited that all of you are here today to enjoy.
So we would like to say thank you to all of our sponsors. Here's a list of them.
So hi, everyone. I'm Ameera Patheria, and I'm not sure, I think Parth should turn on his microphone any second now, but we're so glad to be a part of this platform here today and talk to you about our Technology Service Club Plugged In. So just going to start off with the next slide. So we're just going to start off by telling you some of the basics. So how does Plugged In start? So Plugged In is a student-run service club that runs out of our school, the American School of Bombay in Mumbai, India. Now, a couple of years ago, a bunch of 4 students got together. Actually, one of them was my elder brother, and they realized how important technology was to their learning, and they wanted to, our school is a one-to-one school, there's a lot of technology integrated to learning, and it was really easy it's really easy for us students at ASB to expand the horizons of our learning by using technology. So we thought that how can we as students at ASB affect social change through using technology? So we kind of put our thinking caps on, and we saw that in Indian society there's a lot of disparity, and we thought that a lot of that disparity perhaps stems from a lack of access to education. So Plugged In was started with the aim that no one's education should be limited, especially in the digital era. And our goal as a club is to help students realize their potential and expand their learning horizons through teaching them basic and even further to basic digital literacy. So essentially our goal is to bridge educational gaps through using technology. So I'll just go to the next slide here. So our club is structured based on 3 different committees. So in order to have the club running we thought that to create a sort of sense of functionality within our club and to be able to achieve our goals and be successful, we thought that we would have 3 committees that are essential to the success of our club. So I'll just start a little bit by talking a little bit about fundraising. So fundraising is a committee that aims to raise funds for our club, and these funds are put towards acquiring resources and further promoting the club. So essentially, when we started off Plugged In, we didn't have many technology resources, so we did a lot of fundraising and we acquired laptops for our Plugged In classroom. One of them you can see actually in this picture was one of the first laptops we bought for our students at Plugged In. And we also, fundraising also kind of works a little bit with the expansion committee, which I'll tell you about later, in acquiring donations and further funds for the club. The next committee that I'll be talking about is curriculum development. I say curriculum development is an extremely integral aspect to our club, especially because our club is structured around education, and it's really important to have a platform where we can continue to innovate how and why we are an educational service club. So essentially in curriculum development, we have a group of about 7 to 8 people who continually work and collaborate together to decide what exactly we are teaching in our club. So we start off by dividing up the work based on what our club members are interested in teaching, and then how we can use our interests and our skills to be able to apply that to enhance the learning of the students in our club. So we produce about 3 to 4 lesson plans a week that are structured around basic and higher level concepts that we want to teach to our students, some of which is that we have an established curriculum for Microsoft Office, for Google Docs, for Facebook, for Khan Academy, BrainPop, Wolfram Alpha, and all these programs that we think that can eventually help a mastering of these programs would be to help our students master their learning. So curriculum development continually creates new lesson plans, prototypes them with the students, and then once a week we'll come back and say that, okay, this lesson was great, we're going to keep this and put it as a part of what we call the permanent curriculum, and then maybe we had a lesson plan that was not as good and needed some tweaking, so that we go back and work on that and then later decide that whether we would want to put that in our permanent curriculum or not. So essentially, we at Curriculum Development are committed to creating a kind of permanent structure for what should be taught through Plugged In. It's essentially kind of the groundwork for establishing what Plugged In does as a club. So since Plugged In is, fairly new, it's only been going around for the last 4 years. We're trying to create some kind of stability in terms of anybody could go to our permanent curriculum that we're trying to create as of now and say that, okay, like this is here, this is what we need to teach these students, and it can be continually applied for years and years to come. The next committee I'm going to talk about is our expansion committee, which Parth actually leads. We work on fundraising together. I lead curriculum development and Parth leads expansion. So expansion essentially works to kind of create awareness about our club, recruit new members, and even expand our club beyond the horizons of the American School of Bombay. So actually this year, thanks to Parth and all his hard work, we were able to we were able to apply our resources and our skills to help plugged-in prototypes be set up in 2 different locations. So we actually have a plugged-in prototype going on in Lubumbashi in Congo, and we also have a plugged-in prototype going on in Gujarat, another state in India. So essentially what we did was we, again, found areas that in these regions where we felt that our work could potentially benefit other students in need, and we decided that we would all thanks
right,
to
so
Parth and people that
I hope
knew in those
you guys
regions
can hear me. I'm Parth Chug.
That we as a club could.
Sorry about that. There was just a bit of a confusion in terms of my talk.
Sorry, I'll just finish up talking a little bit.
Go ahead, Ameera.
So I'll just finish up talking a little bit about our expansion committee, and then I will hand it over to Parth. So essentially, just to finish up telling you about our expansion committee, we were able to apply our resources in terms of our lesson plans, the kind of structure we've created for Plugged In. We were able to establish prototypes of Plugged In both Gujarat and in Congo, and currently we have lessons being taught and students who are benefiting from the concept of Plugged In, and we have been able to see great success in terms of the learning outcomes for the students who have been involved in this. So essentially that's what our expansion committee does. We try and recruit new members who would be useful for our club. We try and create awareness about our club and the importance about our club, what is important about our club and why it is essential and relevant to modern day. And thirdly, we try and expand our club beyond the horizons of ASB. So I think I will.
Yeah, I can hear you. I hope everyone else can hear me too. So we're gonna just go back for a second, actually. Just to quickly talk about how we have 3 committees, but we're still one club. Because even though people are going to be doing their tasks in their own committees, like organizing a bake sale or doing extra research, we still want to maintain the fact that we have a clear aim and goal and mission in the end. And we have each member have to come to a teaching at least 3 to 4 times each school semester, so they actually get an understanding of why we're doing what we're doing. So they're not just blindly raising money or researching on topics, but they actually understand why and how it can actually be used in our club practically by seeing the students that we're teaching. Right now, I'll start talking about fundraising and exactly how we operate. So how do we raise funds? Now, that's an enormous question. Surprisingly, it's because of bake sales. Bake sales have been the key to almost a massive amount of our funds, because everybody loves food and we're able to provide that and raise funds through that. But along with that, we've also organized a couple of events, such as a FIFA night a couple years ago, and also a Mario night, and we've also catered to a few mini game activities when students from around the country have come over to our school for sporting events and had mini games during that, which other schools can participate in, which were all pretty successful, and we really enjoyed those as well. And not only are we able to raise funds, but at the same time kind of get the word out about our club at the same time, which is fantastic. And yes, I did say Mario Night, Mr. Thomas. All right, and now let me talk about what else fundraising does. We don't just concentrate about the funds, but also take care of transactions. For example, if the curriculum development team realizes that they need some sort of software, such as Photoshop, for a couple of their students that are really interested in editing photos and kind of getting into that line of careers. The fundraising committee takes care of either trying to find the actual program and paying for it, or contacting our tech office and seeing if they'll be able to provide that, or sponsors if they're able to get that for us as well. So they really take care of all the transactions in the fundraising committee and making sure everything runs smoothly and we have a coherent sort of understanding between the club, because we can't just have a person from the expansion committee buying a laptop out of nowhere without and then the curriculum development doing kind of the same thing, someone in that. We have a sort of structure in place for that, which is through the fundraising committee and the transaction checks. Then the feasibility checks. Now, this is basically understanding what the product that we're about to buy for the club. So we at least have one person research the product that we're about to buy before we actually buy it and make sure that it makes sense to buy it, really. So, for example, we needed to send 2 laptops to Lubumbashi, DRC, a couple of weeks ago. And what we did was we had 3 people in the fundraising committee work on actually getting these laptops. So 2 of them kind of just found a few laptops online from different websites, and one of them was actually able to go out into Bombay and go to this almost abandoned warehouse where they actually store laptops, and was able to get us 2 used laptops for a really nice price, and also it functions perfectly for the basic needs that we have in Lubumbashi at the moment. Along with that, they also take care of equipment research. So basically what this means is that before we, as I said with the feasibility checks, but equipment research goes into a bit more depth. So after we complete our feasibility checks, we go into equipment research and seeing what exactly do we need to do to maintain the product that we're about to buy for Plugged In, and what sort of maintenance is required, how exactly can we move forward with the product and use it later on. So right now, one of our members is working on bringing a thing called KeyPod. KeyPod is an upcoming company which basically specializes in USBs and which contain an entire operating system on them. If you want more information about that, you can definitely send me an email and I can send you all the details about that. But basically, KeyPod enables a student to kind of have their own USB with an operating system on them, so they don't have to worry about saving files and remembering which computer they saved it on and things like that, because we've had that problem multiple times. But now they'll be able to kind of save it on that USB with the actual operating system and the files, and be able to connect it to another another computer, which is fantastic, really, for the students. Now I'll be handing it over to Ameera for curriculum development.
So I kind of spoke a little bit about this earlier when I was going through the overview, but there are some really key things here that I'd like to talk to you about more in depth about what we do with curriculum development. So I think the most important steps that we have to take when establishing a curriculum for our club is to make sure that we are understanding the needs of our students. Because, I mean, I've been with Plugged In since it started, and the main problem that we had when we started is that we went and we were all eager and we had all these great ideas in our head about how we were going to affect social change and how we were going to change the lives of the students that we were going to teach. But we kind of fell flat on our faces because when we first started out, it was really, really difficult for us to engage our students. And what we realized is that what's really, really important about doing service is that it's not about what you think people need, but you need to figure out what people need and then figure out how you can use your skills and resources to apply that to help them with what they need. So I think what was most important for us was figuring out what our students need and really understanding and getting to know them better. And I think that once we engaged a little further in the needs of our students and got to know them better, it was a lot easy for us to be successful and to be welcome in their classroom and to kind of have a good rapport with students. So I can just give you a little example of some success we've had because we've engaged in what our students are, what they want and what they're interested in. So just a year ago, we had one student, a male student, graduate from our plugged-in class and go off to junior college, 11th and 12th grade. So the school we teach at is only up till 10th grade. And for the last 2 years that we were teaching him, he communicated to us within that time period that he was interested in becoming a computer software engineer. Now, when some other club members had spoken to him, he said that he had no experience with computer programming, but that is what he wanted to do, and that's what he wanted to do his concentration for 11th and 12th grade in. And we kind of thought that how is this going to happen? It's very, very competitive to get into such programs, and he has no coding experience. So what we did was we did some research, and we found this program online called Code Academy, and we had this boy in the computer lab, capping in extra hours, learning how to code on this online website. And now we can proudly say that he's successfully at his junior college, in a very reputable college, studying computer science. So that's just one example of how once you really engage and truly connect with the people you're trying to help, and you make it less about what you think they need and more about what they really need, it's where you're going to really start seeing some results and really start seeing that impact that you set out to make. When I look about, I'm going to talk a little bit about, how we make our lesson plans. So our lesson plans are we try to not just write down on a piece of paper that, yes, we will now be teaching Microsoft PowerPoint, and and we're going to teach them how to put in animations and how to, change from slide to slide. We try and, as I talked about earlier, since we're trying to establish a permanent curriculum that can be universally applied to anyone who wants to teach a plugged-in lesson, it should be very easy for them to take a lesson plan from the permanent curriculum and be able to teach it. So I don't know if you can see the picture on the side. We always try to make objectives for our lesson plan so that we know what needs to be achieved by the time we are done teaching a specific lesson. So essentially our objectives are essentially that students will be able to so-and-so by the end of going through this lesson plan. And we try and make it so that there are notes in the margins for the person who will be teaching the lesson, so that it's very easy for them to pick up and say that this is how it can be done effectively. And usually the notes to the teachers we put in are after we've already run and prototyped a specific lesson once, because then we know what kind of notes to put in and what kind of things will help this lesson plan be even more successful than we did it. And that goes under the whole reflecting and adapting process. It's an integral process to constantly reflect and adapt because, Parth and I and other club members, that we're not experienced teachers, and I find that through working with Plugin, it's taught me a lot about teaching and learning, and I think the most important thing to realize is that each student you meet is going to be different. No one student is the same. No one student will have the same approaches to learning, and every student will learn at a different pace. And what's important to realize is that that learning should be when possible, learning should be specialized to each and every student. So it's really important for us to go back and see that we have in a class about 35 students at a time. And it's important to see that how can we best structure a specific lesson plan so that it's adaptable and flexible among all students and their different abilities, their different approaches to learning, and their all the different needs that each and every student will possess. So those are the three main concepts that we kind of think are that are connected with curriculum development. So it's really important to connect and understand and engage with the issue you're trying to solve, make an action plan, and then be able to reflect and alter your plan and make it a kind of flexible plan that can be applied in multiple situations and scenarios. I'm just going to hand it over to Parth again for a minute just so that he can talk a little bit about our expansion committee. So I'm going to go off the air. Thank you.
All right. Hello, guys. So expansion, as it is in the word itself, that you're trying to pretty much get your idea across to different places, really. Now, the first thing is scoping out the prospects for where you can expand. Now, how we do this is through our own context, because we feel like it's better if we have a personal touch with the person we're trying to kind of start our prototype with, and we feel like that's going to be the easiest way to really communicate what our goal is and constantly keeping tabs with the person. How we do this is through Google Docs, really, because Google Docs has been pretty much the best tool for us in Plugged In, as we're able to kind of sort through our committees and through our different branches as well. So I'll just quickly talk about how we started Plugged In Lubumbashi and Plugged In Gujarat as well. Now, Plugged In Lubumbashi was started last summer when I actually went to Congo, which I go to Congo every year because my dad works in Congo itself, so he actually does have several contacts in the nation and specifically in Lubumbashi. And through that, we were able to contact a company that he works with and its HR committee in that, and eventually they were able to connect us with a company called Vinmart Foundations, where we were able to ask them if they could provide teachers and sponsorships, which they did eventually provide. And in this picture, as you can see, this is actually in an office room, a conference room, and this was during our summer sessions. And what we did over here was we kind of started off teaching kids of the employees in the company, the local employees of the company, and kind of give them the basis. And it was kind of like a trial run, really, if it was feasible to actually go on with. And it turned out it was really successful, and I was able to be on the ground during that. So what we ended up doing was we contacted 2 schools, and they were both interested in having Plugged In help out. And we started off there, and we have 8-week lesson plans, and basically during that we cover the basis of digital literacy, such as how to start a laptop, how to use Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, appropriate use of internet, how to actually use the internet, really, Wikipedia, Khan Academy, all of that is included in that 8-week lesson plan. And then towards the last week, we organize a final presentation and give out plugged-in certificates for them, which actually does have some sort of it's some sort of worth in the for schools as well, because when they show that certificate, people actually find that it has meaning, because they think that now the students do have a good basis of technology and actually does help them in terms of colleges. And another thing that we've started in Congo is having students from past programs of Plugged In kind of start teaching the newest program, and they're able to earn minimal salary during that, and it's really just volunteering, but along with that, they're able to earn some money to help their family during that, which is the donations are provided by Vinmart foundations, which we're working with. Now, the second point is reeling in members. Now, the key to Plugged In is that students are running the club, really, and we need to kind of continuously have students come into our club and be interested in the club. We've had several students come in and kind of just are there because they're trying to earn some CAS hours for the IB, or simply put on their college resume that they've worked with the service club. But we've gotten a lot more stricter on that, and we've been kind of getting students that are really interested in our cause and our club and can actually offer something new to our club. And that's what we've been doing through having little kind of booths during lunch times and during community service presentations, where we kind of reel in 9th and 10th graders into our club to kind of help us in terms of actually being able to sustain the club itself. Finally, getting the word out. How we do this is we started our Facebook page and our website, and we're planning on we're planning on updating both of them. And furthermore, we're thinking about starting an Instagram and Twitter to keep up with the wonderful digital age that we're in, and trying to get kids that are our age interested in the cause and really understanding what Plugged In is, and kind of helping us out in our end goal, which is to teach and help as many students as we can possible. All right, I'll be handing it over to Ameera now for the next slide.
So I hope everyone can hear me. I'm just going to talk about a little bit what we sort of spoke about at the beginning, and about when I was talking about our goal and how we think that, and how we aim to bridge educational gaps through technology. So, essentially, the first thing that you can see on the slide is that technology is the key to innovation, and secondly, it's evening the playing field. So I think I can kind of connect those two concepts as I speak to you, and say that in India there is great economic disparity. And when I was younger, I used to live in Ireland until I was about 10 years old, and then I moved to India, and it was just a totally shock of a completely different environment. Although I was from India and I visited every summer, it was just a completely different feeling to kind of be immersed in a culture that struggles with so much disparity. And what I strongly believe that education is extremely important to success. And I've noticed that in India there are huge educational gaps. And as I spoke about, the reason why Plugged In was ever started is with the intention to bridge educational gaps. And we at ASB have a great technology program. We're very heavy into technology. We are constantly innovating and constantly innovating our platforms of technology. And I spoke about this a little before, but as a student at ASB, I've realized how much technology can expand my horizons as a learner. As a teacher is talking to me in class, and I learn something new, and then I go home and I think that's interesting, and it's 10 o'clock and I want to talk to someone about it, or I want to know more about it, and it's 10 o'clock at night and I can't really talk to my teacher. I can just go online, search the topics that I'm interested in a Google search, narrow it down, find some interesting articles, and really push beyond the requirements of a classroom is, and expand my learning. And I personally, and all the members of Plugged In, have noticed how helpful these technology tools can be in learning more and becoming a better learner. So we strongly believe that learning should be limited to a high-quality education, and especially in the digital era when a high-quality education is so accessible and even free. So we believe that technology is extremely can be a catalyst in evening the playing field. someone who is maybe not in the same economic bracket as another person can still receive as high quality education through tools that are available on technology platforms as someone who maybe is in a higher economic bracket. So we believe, as just to conclude this part of our presentation, that technology is extremely important, and we believe that using technology to bring educational gaps can serve as a catalyst for affecting social change in Indian society. And it's just been a really, really great experience to see that take place firsthand, and even be expanded beyond Indian society, as Parth was talking to you about, that we've now expanded to even Congo. So it's been really great that to see this happening with our own eyes. And I can say for myself that even though we are working at a smaller scale, it's really satisfying to, even though our reach may not be as big as we would like, we are really happy making a large impact on a small scale. So it's been so great to see how something that we're knowledgeable about, technology, and seeing the importance of technology in our everyday lives, making that important in others' lives, and kind of affecting social change through something that we are knowledgeable about, and it's been really great. So I am just going to hand it over to Parth, so, or maybe we can speak about this together, but talk about how you can establish your own plugged-in model.
So this slide is kind of to help out, not only if you want to start your own plugged-in, but also try to start helping and solving an issue in your own community. For students and as well as adults as well, can kind of follow this simple plan, which can get really complicated when you actually do it, but it looks really simple at the moment. So step one, identify. Now, you don't need to necessarily identify a problem in society, but also if you have a simple observation, such as there's a problem in terms of having the students not, like students in municipal schools not acquiring as much knowledge about digital literacy, which is how we kind of started off. And then that's when we moved on to step two, which is research and understanding exactly how many students are in municipal schools, which municipal schools are located where, how can we help these municipal schools, which municipal school actually teaches in English and understands like how we can communicate with them as well. And then after the research stage, you go into step three, which is act. Now, in our situation, the acting part was obviously difficult, and it's difficult all across the board for everyone, really, because you actually have to get your hands dirty here, because you have to go in and start working really hard, because you have to start contacting everybody that you did during the research phase and starting to get the gears to roll, really. And this is done through actually being on the ground, constantly communicating with the leaders in your group, having an understanding of what we're doing constantly, and then moving on to step four, which is sustainability. The sustainability of our club is vital for it to actually progress in the future, and it is vital for any club or any company, really. And the way this can be achieved is having a model that's not just personal to yourself and something that everyone else in your club can also understand. And if the time comes, such as Ameera and mine, which is kind of, we're graduating the American School of Bombay right now. So we've started kind of prepping a few of our younger members to take over the club next year. We'll still obviously try to be involved as much as we can, but since our basis is in the American School of Bombay, we want to continue that, and that's why we've continuously tried to mentor our younger members and help them take over the club in the future. And then finally, the bonus stage, which is to adapt. Ameera, do you want to talk about that? Hello?
Sorry, I just wanted to add a little bit. To the sustainability aspect that actually Ms. Sharon asked me to talk about. Parth was talking about how our platform is in ASB, and it's really helpful for us because there's a lot of resources that we can get out of working with our school that really supports our initiative. And when you're thinking about sustainability, and especially if this is going to be a student-run club or something on a small scale, you have to think about how much you can handle. So as I mentioned before, it is very satisfying to be able to make a large impact on a small scale rather than making a small impact on a large scale. So actually, just to give you a little anecdote, earlier Parth and I had been approached and asked if we would like to establish Plugged In as an official NGO. And at the thought of it, we were like, wow, this would be so cool, it would be so official. But then we were took a conscious decision and said that perhaps this isn't the best idea because you have to see, you don't want to bite off more than you can chew. And we realized that if we were to become an independent NGO, we would have to provide all the resources, all funds, and we wouldn't be able to be supported by our school anymore. So for example, if right now if something goes wrong with one of the technology devices in our classroom, we're able to give it to our school's technology office and they can repair it for free. And if we were to be an independent NGO, all those service and maintenance charges and initiatives would have to come from us. So I think what's also really, really important in terms of sustainability is not only finding people who can help you and continue to carry on the legacy of your club, but to figure out your reach and kind of do it effectively. Whether it's better to help one student really, really, really sincerely rather than help 10 and not really be able to create much change within them. And that's something that we've realized through Plugged In, is it's more about quality rather than quantity, and that I think is a really, really extremely important aspect under sustainability, and that's why we've been able to carry on Plugged In for so long successfully, is because we're able to see that, okay, this is how much we can do, this is how we're going to do it, and we're not kind of kidding ourselves. We're kind of being serious and seeing that this is the level to which we can do it. And I think that's really important to consider in any initiative, and I think that's a really extremely important aspect under sustainability, and it's just something to consider, especially if you were considering establishing an organization of your own. And that's just something that Ms. Sharon said would be extremely important to talk about, and also I think it's extremely important to include under the sustainability. So I'm just going to hand it over to Parth, and he will talk a little bit about the bonus step of adaptation.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that, Ameera. Thank you for adding that. I completely forgot, actually. All right. So when it comes to adapting, even after planning everything and doing everything theoretically, you still need to adapt because everything doesn't necessarily go as you want it to go. So, for example, in Congo, we started off teaching them the same way that we did in Bombay, which is to kind of just have a continuous lesson plan, which permanent curriculum that goes throughout the year itself, so around a 6 to 8 month course. And we kind of took a step back and looked at it, seeing the feasibility of that, and that's when we decided to go into having 8-week courses for that as well. And having this ideology of kind of being able to adapt and look at different situations and see what the best way to approach it is really helps us be successful as a club, and is important for any organization that wants to start or wants to continue in the future itself. So Hope you guys enjoyed the presentation. If you guys have any questions, feel free to tell us. Ameera, do you have any last words?
No, I just want to thank everyone so much for being here and listening to our presentation. I'm really, really glad that we were given this opportunity to be able to share with you something that's so meaningful to us on this great platform. So thank you all so much for being here.
Yeah, we truly appreciate you guys listening to us and kind of already supporting our club by being here itself. If you guys have any questions, I put down both of our emails in the comments, so go ahead and email us anytime. And thank you again so much. We've had an incredible time.